Hello, welcome to Cull the Weak Card Talk. I'm Brobnar89.
I'm Shaka.
Today we will be looking at a creature called Rocketeer Tryska. Rocketeer Tryska is a 4-power, 0-armor common. She is a human, and the text reads, "While the tide is high, Rocketeer Tryska's neighbors enter play ready." The first thing that pops into my head when I see this card is, ooh, that's going to be great to have when the board is totally clear. Of course, the extension of that thought is that, and then you'll need to have 2 creatures of Star Alliance House in hand as well. And okay, so maybe that doesn't work out quite as well as I'm imagining at first glance. However, as we did discuss, there are some excellent board wipes in Star Alliance that might help you to set up a favorable situation where that might be a little bit more likely. And still being able to choose one creature to come into play ready. So even if you are forced to play her on a flank and you still get to play in one creature ready, that's still quite good, especially at the common level. And then after you've got her played, she's 4 power, she'll stick around for a while, and your opponent isn't going to want to necessarily fight down the creature that you put next to her because they're going to have to deal with you being able to play in a creature that comes in ready.
And creatures coming into play ready is extremely strong. That's one of the fundamental limitations in this game, that creatures have to wait a turn before you can use them. And you also have to be in that house. It could be several turns before you use these creatures. When they enter play ready, you're getting that value right away. And there's an action in Star Alliance called Unity or Discord, which is a common. And one of the possible effects is return up to 2 friendly creatures and each upgrade attached to them to their owner's hands. You can play out a bunch of creatures on either side of the Rocketeer, then bring them back to your hand and play them again, getting more value.
That's true. That could make for a really massive play. And Unity or Discord is a common as well.
Right. And Lieutenant Valmark can boost the key cost by 6 on the turn that he comes out. That's a common creature in Star Alliance. This is Play, Fight, Reap. If the tide is high, keys cost +3 during your opponent's next turn.
Very similar to Sensor Chief Garcia. So that could really punish your opponent if they go too high, make them pay a lot for that key.
Yeah. And CXO Tabor would be a great card to come in ready.
Ooh.
I do notice in this set, there don't seem to be as many powerful fight reap effects on Star Alliance creatures. That maybe gave the designer some space to put in an effect like Rocketeer, which would have been much more imbalanced with some of the effects we saw in Worlds Collide Star Alliance.
Sure. It would be very excellent if you played Diplomat Agung next to Rocketeer, and you were able to trigger the Diplomat's effect twice in a turn. If you've got a big board, that could really make some big waves. Another bid at house interplay, as we've been discussing this week.
Big waves indeed.
Yes, as is appropriate for Dark Tidings.
All right, we can take a look at the evil twin of the Rocketeer. 4-power human still, has skirmish. While the tide is high, Rocketeer Tryska enters play ready. Well, skirmish is an ability I like. Entering play ready with skirmish, it's okay. You don't get too much destruction in Star Alliance historically, although in this set, you can actually get quite a bit of destruction. You could get something interesting going on with upgrades here. Maybe I play a plasma nozzle on my ready evil Rocketeer, and I'm able to fight and do some serious damage. Or I can get a stunner, force field, universal translator. Lots of interesting upgrades that have good effects when you use the creature.
Yeah, that's true. And, just because it has skirmish doesn't mean you have to fight with it. You could put it into play and just go ahead and reap with it. You'll appreciate this more if you don't have any other creatures in your hand. But I think, generally speaking, the non-evil version is just going to be hands down better. Just because there's a number of great play, fight, reap effects that you would be happier to trigger right away than, skirmish power 4.
Right. And keep in mind for both of these, the tide has to be high.
Which is likely to be worth it to take those chains and raise the tide, if that's what you have to do. It's likely to be worth it with the non-evil twin version, but for the evil twin, I don't think that's going to be worth it most of the time.
I agree. And I think for the regular version, you want to play her on a flank so that you can get that value in a different house.
Right. You know, that's something we didn't mention at all, is that it doesn't have to be Star Alliance creatures. You can put this down on a flank and leave it there as a setup for your next turn.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that is Rocketeer Tryska and Rocketeer Tryska Evil Twin. Check back tomorrow for another look at another card.